And Executive VP Steve Tisch had to say.
At the moment, it's hypothetical. We have not been contacted by anyone representing Odell, making that comment or suggesting that's something he will do. So my reaction to it is it's just, it's another hypothetical situation in a number of hypothetical situations. Odell's contract will be negotiated at the appropriate time.
Kyle, should they even consider listening to offers for Odell?
Listen, yes. I would not trade Odell, though. I truly would not. I would say to Odell, you're not going to sit out a game. I understand that you say you're not going to show up unless you have a contract. You're not going to sit out a game. Nobody sits out a game. This is what I would say to you. You're going to make more money this year on your existing contract than you've ever made in your career. You're going to go out. You're going to have your 1,500 yards. You're not going to embarrass us. And then we're going to make you the richest wide receiver to ever live. It's that. Sammy Watkins just made $16 million a year, Odell. What do you think you're going to make? Just play it out. This will work out. I don't want to trade him. He's too good.
Oh, Steve Tisch. Tisch. Listen, I get what you're saying. Like I said yesterday, you're trying to speak out loud so he can hear you. It's just like being in the store when I was running around, knocking everything off the counters, and my mom said, you touch one more thing in here, you're going to sit your butt in the car. That's basically what they're saying to Odell, but I agree with you. You're not trading Odell. You're not getting rid of him. Maybe it's a little bit of smoke. We often say where there's smoke, there's fire. There is no fire right now. Odell is a monster at the wide receiver position, and when healthy, he's up there in the conversation with Antonio Brown, with Julio Jones. So they can say everything that they want, and this is the offseason, right?
Yeah.
It's the time where you do have these conversations. It's the time where Odell comes back to New York after the offseason, and he sits down with everybody, and they can get on the same page. But right now, this is just them sending out smoke signals.
And why would he play if he's coming off of an injury-riddled season where he missed time, and then you're going to ask him to play out a contract with no guarantees for an extension?
Okay?
Ooh, we'll see what happens with Odell. You know what might have some answers for us?
Coach?
Pat Shermer. Let's go to the Coach's Breakfast live right now in Orlando.
He'll be ready to
He's
go
at the
as we
mic.
get going. So there's steps he's got to take, but all indications are he'll be back healthy by the time we start playing in September.
Coach, when the president and CEO comes out and says no player is untouchable, and you're either at your hotel room or you're flying in, wherever you are, what's your immediate response when you hear a comment like that? That's not from you, but from the president and CEO.
Yeah, it's just another way of saying that we're going to try to do everything we can to make our team better. And I understand that. And it's sort of refreshing to know that we're going to, look under any rock and turn over every stone we can to make sure that we make the New York Football Giants the best team we can make it as we start September.
You're now, 3 months into this. What do you make of being in the New York market, the Odell show, and kind of coming in from, obviously you've coached other places, but being in New York in this market and kind of what it's been as far as every single day, it's another thing with Odell Beckham?
Well, first, certainly this is one of the most iconic franchises in NFL football, really in all pro sports, and so you feel that when you walk around the building. There's people in the building that care. It's in our DNA to win, and we're trying to make the changes necessary to get back to winning. And so that's sort of what I feel. Being in the New York market, you'll see this about me. I'm just going to try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. This time of year, this is the kind of the business time of year, and no other business of the world does everybody talk about deals they're making before they happen. So I don't know why football is any different.
Have you had a player of this stature as far as celebrity status and sort of like the face, and how have you handled that in the past?
Yeah, we have. I mean, places I've been, we've had players with this type status. So I guess as the coach, you're just open and honest with the player, and you just try to express what you're looking for in a guy that's going to try to be a good teammate. And, it's really kind of exciting for us now. We're on the verge of getting them back so that we can start training. This is the time of year when we as coaches don't get to do what we like to do. And so I'm excited to get to know the players. I know of them. I've studied them. Some of them I've worked with in the past, but this will be the time when I get to really know them, and that's what I'm excited about.
My last one, the meetings in LA with Odell when you were out there can you just give us any insight? I know you can't talk football with him, but any insight on the details of those meetings, where they were and kind of how it went down?
No, I wasn't. I was out there, and it'd be no different. The way this thing got set up, it'd be no different if Odell was in New York and he came by the office. And so since I was already out there, I reached out to him. We all understand this time of year you can't talk football, but it was a good meeting, and I felt like I got to know him a little better. And again, as we talked about earlier, the only way you get to know somebody is by visiting with them, and I got a good sense, or a little better sense, of who he is.
Thanks, man.
All right, you got it.
Great stuff from Peter Schrager there. He'll be bringing us interviews live from the Orlando Coaches Breakfast all morning long here on Good Morning Football. You hear from Pat Shurmur, obviously talking about Odell, a new head coach with the Giants. He understands the history, but the coaching change might be the ticket here, right? Because I feel like Odell, yes, there's antics, there's things that happens, but I feel like a lot of the heat was put on the coaching staff not holding him accountable.
That's true. And we talked before the interview about they should keep him, they should hold on to Odell. The question becomes then, can Pat Shurmur handle that? I mean, I think we all agree that Ben McAdoo, one way or another, was not fit to handle some of the New York experience. Peter asked a good question. Have you ever had a star like Odell? Now, that's not Adam Thielen. That's not Stephon Diggs either. This is a whole different animal. I will say this. Pat Shurmur's resume is a mile long. He was in Philadelphia dealing with Deshaun when he left town, with Shady. Those are big stars with big money contracts.
Yeah.
This initial conversation, I was impressed because he was so steady, didn't rattle, and he's going to need a lot of that, especially if they don't pay Odell until after the season.
I love it. He's very aware of where he is in the city, the team. He said the New York Football Giants, they're an iconic franchise. And that word icon, it jumps out to me. And, there's a song, I love music, and Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son, he has a song called Icon. And in it, the first line is, I am just an icon living. And I feel like when I saw this video, I thought, that's Odell. He's an icon. And he looks at himself as that, which he should. He is an absolute rock star. The question is, can the coaching staff, can everybody involved in the front office have a sit down with Odell and talk to him and say, listen, I get it, you are an icon. I get it, you are a rock star. I get it, you are the man. But when we are paying you to be a football player, that needs to be your priority. When you're done, when you're off the clock, when it's the off season, you can be a rock star. Don't put yourself in situations that shed a bad light on you or this organization, but go ahead and be that rock star. But when you're a football player, be a football player and be the best football player for this franchise. And that right there, that's the ultimate balance. And it's so delicate when you're dealing with a guy like Odell, a guy of this magnitude.
When they're trying to send a message to him, right? Maybe that's what all they're doing here with this, all this talk about trading, a potential mayor coming out and expressing his frustration with having to answer questions about his star wide receiver. Don't you think it's a bad sort of sign that this happened after Pat Shurmur sat down with him and got a better idea, like he just said, of where he was at? Like, that to me isn't very telling. If I had a meeting with you and it didn't go well because I had to send a message to you in another way in front of the world days later at the owners' meetings, it doesn't sound very good for Odell.
It doesn't necessarily. You're right. And listen, we're all saying Odell's too good to get rid of. Make no mistake, like, there could be a storm coming. If Odell is saying, I'm not coming to training camp, if Odell, even if he does show up every week, I haven't been paid, you have to batten down the hatches. Like, that is a battle in and of itself. So as much as I say, they got to keep Odell, that could be toxic as hell. Truly, if they met, and I don't know if they hit it off or not, but there is a storm coming.
You cannot blame Odell for wanting to get paid, the way that I'm looking at it. I usually am pretty hard on Odell for any of his antics. He's not a lawbreaker. He's not, he has some antics. I understand that. You know what? So did Antonio Brown against the Ravens last year when he threw a water cooler. And
so we didn't. 75% of players.
Exactly. And, I understand that we're in the New York market. He just saw Sammy Watkins get broke off in Kansas City. To me, if I'm Odell, I want to be the highest paid wide receiver, and I deserve it. I also got injured last year, so I want some guaranteed money and a future. So I get it.
Right. Come on, Odell, go to practice and play in the preseason.
Maybe I should have been a wide receiver. Nah. All right, more on Odell after this. We have more coaches as well. Bill Belichick among them, sitting at the breakfast table in Orlando, all 32. And they took their photo yesterday. I know Kyle's going to break that down.
I can't wait. Favorite photo of the year.
You don't want to miss it.
I hope one of these coaches have this.